Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Monday. We are back, and we're going to give you last week's rundown in less than 5 minutes. Last week, the theme was pretty simple. Bigger, it's not always better. Sometimes it's just more expensive, more annoying, and a lot harder to manage.
I opened this week with a point a lot of business owners learned the hard way. More is not always growth. Sometimes it's just clutter with a sales team. More offers, more services, more customer types, more side quests. For a while, that can feel like growth. Then your margins get weird, your team gets slower, and the whole business starts feeling heavier than it should. And that's the point. Not every new thing makes the business better. Sometimes it just makes it more complicated. The smarter move is getting really clear on what works, what actually makes money, and what deserves more of your time. Be sure to check out the full post over on creditbank.io.
Now, over in the news, we're looking at transportation again, specifically robo-taxis. Waymo is already starting to gain ground in San Francisco, and Tesla, well, they want in. The basic idea here is if they can have cars stay on the road longer, the cost of rides, well, they come down, just like everything in Silicon Valley. Goal is longer hours, more production, get prices down, mass adoption.
Matt, these are the competing interests. There's your side of the camp that wants to get rid of cars and you just want to hail. Then there's my side of the camp and we want to live through our midlife crisis with a Sunday stroll in our convertible gas guzzler. Vroom.
Well, from robo-taxis in San Francisco back to outer space. Space tourism, well, it's on the rise again, especially after Artemis 2 went further than Apollo 13. Look, Lou, I don't know if you saw this or not, but Virgin Galactic, you know, the company that charges $750,000 for rich people to leave the planet, well, the stock popped in a big way.
Matt, let's just say the $750,000 price tag wasn't there. Would you do it?
Yes, 100%. You wouldn't?
Back here on Earth, gas climbed above $4 a gallon, and suddenly EVs started looking a lot more practical. Amazing how fast ideology shuts up when the pump starts throwing punches, isn't it?
Well, look, EVs, I don't think they're coming back anytime soon. Yeah, gas is up with everything that's going on in Iran, but it's going to be back a lot quicker. I don't think Ford's putting that EV plant back on the market anytime soon.
However, used EV searches jumped, sales rose, and dealers are stocking up. However, new EV sales have cooled, which tells you two things. Buyers are happy to go electric, they just prefer clearance rack electric.
So let's take a look at America's upper middle class, which, Lou, I don't know if you know this or not, but they're the largest income group in America. And things sound great. Remember, income's only half your balance sheet, though. Expenses, that's the other half. When you start to make more money, you start to buy more stuff. And I don't really know how great that really is.
Well, you got to keep up with the Joneses, but just because you're upper middle class and you're spending more, you may have less than what you did maybe 5 years ago when you were just middle class.
Listen, Lou, this story is right up your alley. Dead malls turning into housing. Why don't you tell them all about it?
The mall is not dead. We've been talking about this for a long time. Wrong retail is dead, but the right retail, it is blossoming. It just got repurposed. Across the country, empty malls, offices, and factories are becoming apartments, which honestly makes sense. If nobody's coming back for the kiosk and the haunted Sears, the building might as well try being useful. And it goes back to what we've been saying all the time. It's now the experiential retail usage.
You know, Lou, in the Money Minute, I talked about tax refunds again. Sure, refunds are great, they're up this year, but the truth of the matter is, the government's giving you back to a credit when it was your money the whole time. You know, I'm not a big fan of taxes, everybody knows that, but it's kind of smoke and mirrors the way they play these games.
Big government, buddy, big government. And finally, some quick hits from around the web. In Annapolis, people welcomed spring by burning socks. Yes, you guessed it. The country's capital for the Navy Academy, not figuratively, literally. There is an actual festival built around torching old socks, eating oysters, drinking beer, and celebrating warmer weather with just enough public fire to keep things interesting. Hooah!
I got a better one for you than that. Back in Johannesburg, I was just there recently. The mayor, the guy that's running for mayor, he's about 75 years old. He put on a snorkel and a mask and jumped in a giant pothole to protest the country's failing infrastructure.
So basically, if you're 75 years old, you can become the mayor of Johannesburg or the president of the United States.
Or just put on a wetsuit.
And finally, Anthropic unveiled an AI model so good at finding software bugs that even Anthropic decided the public should absolutely not have access to it. Which is always comforting hearing a tech company say, don't worry, only a few giant companies get to use the alarming one.
This is interesting. Mythos, the new model that they're putting out, they're really afraid of it. They're only giving it to the largest and most powerful corporations in the world. But bad guys, well, they tend to get their hands on what they want. So we're in a scary time.
So that was the week. Do less, spend smarter, question the refund, and if your city won't fix a pothole, the form to file is now a snorkel. Don't forget to follow along on YouTube for weekly updates and more, and hit us up over on Substack if you want to go deeper into any of these stories. See you next week.